All right, aloha to those of you who are watching this on YouTube in the future. Thank you guys so much for checking it out, especially if you guys are some of the regulars here within the community. And yeah, I'm just going to be broadcasting as kind of like a secondary feed. We're actually creating an Ibble event all about UFOs and the UFO phenomenon. So I'll be keeping an eye on things on many platforms, and I'm just going to get things started here, and you'll kind of hear me reiterate some of the intro a couple times here. So stand by. All right. Aloha to those of you who are watching the recording of this on Instagram. What we're doing here, this is me sharing a bit about my UFO experiences, as well as just talking about UFOs in general. And what's actually really cool about this is that this is actually an event that is taking place on multiple platforms. So this is something that I'm actually going to be broadcasting on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, as well as on Ibble. And for those of you who may be watching the recording of this, the link for Ibble is through my profile. Find it on your app store. What's cool about Ibble is that using Ibble is a way for you guys to be able to submit your own responses to this event. So if you guys have your own UFO stories, if you guys have your own UFO like theories or questions that you want to be able to ask me with your voice, with your video and everything like that, download Ibble, follow me there at Mystic Spider-Man, go to my events tab, and you'll see the event there, which is all about exploring and questioning the UFO experience. So the UFO phenomenon. So with that said, again, what you guys are going to kind of see here, for those of you on every platform except Ibble, I'm going to be recording videos to Ibble. So you're going to kind of see me like talking to one camera, but I'm still present on all the platforms, and I'll be keeping an eye on all the comments. And I'm going to be getting into some of my UFO stories. I got like 4 different stories. So if you guys want to stick around, then yeah, please, by all means. And if you guys are on Ibble, then go ahead and submit your responses there, because I'll be replaying some of the responses. I know Kristen already submitted a story for her response for some of her UFO experiences and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you again, everyone. And yeah, allow me to start recording the intro videos for this event on Ibble. So this is kind of give me some slack here. This is kind of new for me. I'm kind of like multitasking on multiple platforms. So all right, wish me luck. Here we go. Okay, stand by. Aloha, fellow mystics, seekers, and shifters. Welcome to another consciousness expanding event here on Ibble. My name is Brendan, aka Mystic Spider-Man, and I'm very excited to be able to welcome you to this collective discussion, this interactive opportunity for us to be able to explore the UFO phenomenon. Now, right off the bat, what we're actually going to be doing is I'm going to be talking just a little bit about UFOs in general, but I'm also going to be sharing some of my own UFO experiences. So there's about like 4-ish UFO experiences. One's going way back to when I was in college. That was like super vivid. And then a like super visceral one that I had with my partner, Lacey. Some of you guys have heard that story before, but I'm going to talk about it again. And then with this, I want to be able to share with you my own experience so that we can talk about it, and also so that you can ask questions, so that you can share your own experiences. So again, what makes Ibble so unique is that this is a chance for us to be able to co-create. So for all of us here on Ibble, you're invited to be able to use the Q&A button here within this event to be able to submit your own video, audio, or even text, not only just asking questions, but also sharing a bit about your own UFO experiences, if you have any, or even your own UFO theories, your best guesses, and again, also your own questions that you may have for me that you just want to be able to like reiterate through like the spoken word as well. So again, super excited to be able to have everybody here again here on Ibble. We got a pretty awesome community, and it's constantly building. And for those of you who are new, welcome to this space. Thank you for helping co-create it. Reminder, you can create your own events here on Ibble. And if you have any questions with the platform, please feel free to reach out and send me a direct message. And yeah, with that said, let's get right into, I'll start off by just kind of sharing a little bit about my own understanding and my own fascination with the UFO phenomenon. And then from there, we're going to get right into some stories. And then we got to some submitted questions to start going through. If you guys are watching this relatively live, keep submitting those responses, keep submitting those questions, and we'll get through it as long as I'm able to be here. We'll keep doing it, and I'll come back afterwards for anybody who contributes any additional responses and continue to reply to them. So we'll keep this thread open. This will be an ongoing discussion, and yeah, it's kind of outside space and time, just in theme with the UFO experience. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for being here. Thank you to the Ibble development team, and thank you to all the amazing members here within our growing community. So with that said, let's get right into just again sharing a little bit about my own like understanding of the UFO phenomenon, and then I'll get into my story. Excuse me, some stories, and then from there we'll just kind of allow the event to naturally unfold. Thanks so much. All right. So, so again, for those of you on all the other platforms, now I get a second to talk to you guys. So what you just saw was me just recording the intro video for the Ibble platform. Again, I'll just use this moment because I just have to take a second here to just upload the video. And you guys are going to see me like talking about the intro and stuff. You guys just get like an extra couple seconds here of me just talking to you directly. But again, within the Ibble platform, I'm inviting you guys to it because you guys get to be able to submit through video or audio format to the event. So it's kind of like you guys like submit video clips and then we put them into the event. So it's pretty cool. So again, with text message within a live chat like this, I can't hear your guys' voice. I can't necessarily hear the full depth of your story. So if you've got a UFO story, if you've got a UFO experience, if you've got questions you want to ask me about my experiences, then click the link in my profile. For those of you on Instagram or TikTok, download Ibble. It's right at the top. It says download Ibble. That's my referral link. Click that link. And then from there, what you can do is you can go to my profile at Mystic Spider-Man, and then you'll see the event. And then from the event, you can use the Q&A button to be able to submit a video response. So again, I'm just kind of multitasking right here. I'm kind of a pro at that, but I'm going to start adding to the event. And because my event is starting right now. And yeah, we're going to kind of go through this. So give me 2 seconds here, and then I'm going to film my next intro here. So. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for joining in. Again, if you guys want to take a second to download Ibble, go ahead and do that now. And then you guys can submit your don't want to submit responses. You guys just want to listen. Stick around whatever platform you're on, and I'm going to get. So give me 2 seconds. I have to type something. I can't type and talk at the same time. So let's. Excited to share my stories. Excited to share my experiences and about UFOs. Okay. All right, so that's uploading. It doesn't take too long to upload. Like I said, I've got a pretty good routine here. And that's good. All right, cool. Cool. All right, so that's uploaded. All right, so let's get right into the next part. So I'm just going to film the second clip. And the second clip, again, is just going to be kind of like me talking a bit about the what I think of the UFO experience. And then we're going to get right into me sharing some stories. So I'll do my best to keep an eye on the comments. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know we got a few people on different platforms. For those of you on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, appreciate you guys being here. Great to see you. So, all right, stand by. So needless to say, this is a topic that I'm incredibly excited to be able to, take two. Okay, here we go. So needless to say, this is a topic that I'm incredibly excited to be able to bring to Ibble, to be able to talk about. And again, coming from personal experience, but even before I had my own UFO experiences, my contact experiences, my sightings and everything like that, it was something that I was already fascinated with. And again, if you are fascinated with the UFO experience, just go ahead and leave a comment on this video. Let me know. But again, for me, like I remember like growing up and I guess like even like movies like Independence Day were obviously things that I watched when I was younger. And that was like this very kind of like fear-based projection of what aliens could be. And it wasn't until, like just naturally, like I started even just like getting into the idea of life existing outside of this earth plane, and starting to explore things through other social media, like through other media, movies and Star Wars and Star Trek and everything. It definitely seemed that undeniably there is something out there. And, naturally getting drawn into some like the conspiracy theories of Area 51 and everything like that. So my heart was always open. My mind was always open. I always had a feeling that, like, there are people out there that have their own experiences and they're talking about it and they have nothing to lose. They have everything to lose. And so why would they, risk their reputation to be able to be, considered a fool in order to be able to share something that was deemedly important to them? And so again, with the UFO experience, there definitely seems to be an underlying agenda that is kind of trying to draw our attention away from it. Or nonetheless, recently with a lot of like the Pentagon papers being released about the UFO research, they're basically trying to kind of of like skew how we as a mainstream culture are thinking about UFOs. And basically anytime like the government or the mainstream media tells you, oh, this is what you should think, look the other way, because I guarantee you're going to find something there. So in addition to UFOs and the aliens and all of that phenomena being projected as kind of like this negative threat that's, like they're here to blow us up and everything like that, there is this other very interesting perspective. And it's about this idea that, the UFOs are a part of, there are other conscious degrees of experiences that can take place within this reality. And so the UFOs, it's very interesting to think about the idea that some of the UFOs are actually part of like a collective of like higher conscious beings that are actually here to be able to interact with us, that are actually here to be able to help assist and accelerate our collective shift in consciousness. But part of how they're doing that isn't always going to be like blatantly outright landing on the White House lawn, but a lot of times it's through like individual contact experiences. And so when you start talking about the UFO experience, you're also talking about the idea of like multidimensional beings and higher dimensional beings and beings that can interact with us through dream time and everything like that. And that's something I'd love to be able to talk a little bit more about as well. So yeah, I've always been fascinated with the UFO experience. And when I was in college, that's when I had my first sighting. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we dive deep together. All right, so just taking a moment here to be able to convert and upload that. And again, for those of you tuned in on other platforms, what we're doing right now, I'm broadcasting on a couple different networks. And I'm filming videos that I'm taking a second to just be able to upload to the Ibble platform. Again, quick shameless plug, if you guys aren't on Ibble, go ahead and join me there. It's a pretty cool app. Again, I'm involved with the app as like an ambassador. So basically part of my role is be able to like bring people over to the app and create content. So it's a cool interact with me further and see what's going on there. But one of the cool things, again, about Ibble, you guys can submit your own responses. So right now we're talking about UFOs, but with like a discussion that takes place outside of space and time, and it's kind of like individual clips added to the And so with this, if you guys have your own UFO experiences, this is an opportunity for you to be able to share and upload those to the event. And then I'm going to get to those as we go. So I'm just typing something, a few of my thoughts about UFOs. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get right into the next clip. So I'm going to share a little bit about my first sighting experience. And I'm just finishing uploading here, and then we'll get right into it. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Again, if you guys want to take a second to download Ibble, just click the link in my profile. And you guys can do that too. And again, part of the reason why I want you guys to do it is because like if you have your own UFO experiences, this is a cool way for you guys to be able to share them, to contribute them. And you can do it in like a 3-minute video and stuff like that. So, but even if you have like your own stuff, maybe you guys want to send me a DM or whatever, that's cool too. So thank you guys again for tuning in. And with that said, that clip is uploaded. And I'm going to talk about my my first UFO sighting experience. And there's 6 questions that we have right now. I'm going to play that one after this as well. So, okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to record. Okay. Here we go. So starting things off with one of my first contact experiences, and I know there's a few people that have actually submitted questions beforehand, also like asking me about my experiences, and we'll put those into the show in a moment as well, and I'll just kind of like extrapolate here on this one. But yeah, so like I said, I've had about like 4 or 5 like sightings, 2 of which have been incredibly visceral, like literally within like 20 meters distance between myself and the craft. So this first experience, this actually happened in 2010. And so I was a student in college at the time, in college and university, and I was there studying multimedia production. I was like learning how to, create videos and stuff like that. At that point, I'd actually been already facilitating the Paradigm Shift Club at my college. And this was a club all about like creating space to talk about paranormal, metaphysical, spiritual, consciousness shifting things. And this sighting was a sighting of a triangle craft, a very traditional, like 3 lights on each corner, like craft. And so I'm just going to give you like the short version of it here. But again, if you guys have any questions about this, let me know, because I know this is like a craft that a lot of people have seen. Long story short, It was in the evening. I was with my girlfriend. We were hanging out on a hillside on the college campus, like literally on college, and in London, Ontario, Canada. And there was a crazy electrical storm off in the distance, which may or may not have something to do with it, but I think it actually did. And it was just sheet lightning, like no rain. And we were looking up at the sky. We were just talking and enjoying each other's company. And then, literally, out of the right hand corner of my vision, what I saw was like the craft literally appear in the form of three lights, but one of the lights was like glitching out as if it was like a glitch in a video graphic, like a video game. And it literally moved across, like we were looking up and it literally like moved like all the way across our vision. And we were looking at it for about like 6 or 7 seconds. And then it just went off into the distance. There was absolutely no noise that it made, but it was clearly like there, and it was hard to tell, like the space between the three lights, it was like blacker than black, which is something that people talk about. But what was interesting is that, literally, from my understanding, is like this thing like literally decloaked right over top of us. So it literally just like boom, and then it just appeared, and then me and my girlfriend were like, holy shit, are you seeing this? Like, and so again, in retrospect, synchronistically, like, what are the odds that this literally just happened to appear over top of us? Did it show itself to us? Did it just happen to decloak? What were the inhabitants of the craft? Where was it coming? Where was it going? These were questions that I was naturally asking after this experience. But undeniably, at that point, I moved from, UFOs just being something I was fascinated with, to knowing at that point that they were in fact real. Having had my own experience, and the mystery just continued to dive deeper from there. So let's take a moment here to hear some of the Q&A from the people in the chat. Okay. All right. So again, just taking a moment here just to be able to convert that video. And yeah, thank you guys again. If you guys want to leave any comments here just in the chat as I'm going, go ahead. You guys in the TikTok and the Instagram and the YouTube, thank you so much for joining in. Again, you guys got like the secondary feed on this. I'm just uploading this video to the Ibble event, and one of the responses from some of the people in the community. So just uploading this. Okay, here we go. So whoops. Let's check back here. So yeah, again, this is a topic that I've always been incredibly fascinated with, and yeah, I'm super excited just to be able to talk about. Could literally talk about this topic like every single day, like, quite frankly. So okay, just converting this. So I'm just reading some of the comments here. Pixie Mom, thank you so much for joining in. Pixie Mom, you're asking about the necklace earlier, I believe. This is an item that I make, and my shop link is also through my profile, paradigmshiftcentral.com/shop. And I have like a whole bunch of those. quick plug as my video is converting. Check out, is this one lit up? Yeah, check out this one. That one's like a honker, man. So Light Guardian crystals. Shameless plug. If you guys want to support me, order from my shop. And yeah, super appreciate it. Yeah, Pixie Mom says, nice. I've been thinking about joining on Ibble. Yeah, Pixie Mom, please, by all means, go ahead. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm doing on Ibble. I also have a separate profile there called Paradigm Shift, where we have like metaphysical discussion topics. So, okay, uploading here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to type this out. And thank you guys for joining in. It's honestly like more fun when I'm like tuned in and you guys are live here with me. Sharing my first UFO sighting. 3 light triangle crafts. Okay. All right, uploading this, and then so what I'm going to do next, you guys are actually going to hear, I'm going to play some of the audio from someone who submitted a question. So again, this is where it gets pretty cool, because this is where like Ibble becomes like very interactive. So again, if you guys like, who here has a UFO story that they might want to share, like just go ahead and leave a comment in the chat. Oh, looks like, hold on, I'm just going to try re-uploading that. I'm not sure if it uploaded correctly. So, but yeah, if you have a UFO experience that you feel like, is something that you want to share, let me know. My first sighting. 3 light triangle craft. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate you guys just kind of like hanging out as I'm multitasking here and checking. If you guys want to hear like the event just like in one clean sequence, again, you can find it there on Ibble. It's basically like listening back to a podcast there as well. So, okay, I'm just gonna share one more short clip. Okay. So just before we get into some of the responses, I just wanted to add a little bit more detail to this event. So with this event, my best guess is that this craft was like probably like a man-made craft, like secret government project. The TBR3 or the TRB3 is an actual like identified like code like for this type of craft, which is like a secret craft that the government like has created and everything like that, allegedly. And again, the ability of this craft existing definitely creates some interesting implications about like hidden technologies and the idea that, you know, what hidden technologies actually exist and what is the government actually creating and so forth and so on. So with this sighting, it wasn't so much like a heartfelt personal connection, especially compared to my other sighting, which I'm going to get into, which was way different. But this one was much more just like maybe I was in the right place at the right time and I just happened to see this and holy shit, did it blow my mind, and it really opened up my view into the fact that this is real. And yeah, again, but there's many different types of UFOs, and maybe it was like a higher dimensional entity in the craft, but maybe it was just like some guys like flying home after a long day at work. But again, my question was like, where was it coming from and where was it going? I remember that being a big question that I was like exploring when that happened at the time. But anyways, let's hear a little bit from the comments submitted through the community. Okay. One second here. Okay. All right, just uploading here. Cool. That's awesome. Really, thank you so much for sharing that you saw one with a friend around 2012. Super fascinating. So that's the thing, man. Like a big part about having this UFO topic discussion is the idea that like there are tons of people that have had their own sightings and experiences, but you know, for multiple reasons, for whatever the case may be, we have this like natural instinct to want to like shun anybody that talks about it. But you know, I want to be able to create a space where we can openly talk about it and explore it together. To Ibble, then I'm going to play some of the responses from people who have submitted to the event using the Q&A feature. So you're actually going to hear what that's like. Again, a reminder: if you guys are tuned in on my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, go ahead and join me on Ibble when you get the chance. Download Ibble, IBBLE, from your app store, and just follow me there at Mystic Spider-Man. All right, okay. So let's hear from. So this is John. Let's hear what John had to be able to share. So.
Hey, Brendan. This is a great topic. I'm interested in this kind of stuff, but I don't have my own experience. So I'm curious to hear what's your experience and how'd you feel too? If you had did you feel the energies or the higher frequencies of the beings, or is it mostly just visual? I don't know. Let me know.
Cool. Okay, hey, and then I just want to check. Kristen. I just want to hear a couple of responses.
Hello, Brendan. Thank you so much for creating this conscious.
Can you guys hear that? Leave a comment if you can hear that.
I'm really looking forward to hear what everyone has to share about UFOs and their experiences. So my question today is, what began your journey toward being open-minded, open, heart-centered, and connected with UFOs, the ideas of something beyond what we experience here, and what supports did you build in your life to be able to continue to grow that? Thank you, Brendan.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to reply Okay. Okay. So I'm replying to John's question, which was again just about like what was the experience. John, thank you so much for your submission here within this event. And again, I love the idea that there are so many people who are fascinated about UFOs who haven't had their own experiences. And I can say that, within this event, I hope to educate you guys in terms of ways that you could potentially have your own experiences as well, be that through like the visceral sighting or even through dream time, which is something to still keep in mind. So prior to this clip, John, I did share a bit about my first UFO experiences, which was again like the three light triangle craft that decloaked over top of me. Just reiterating on that, for me, that was like a sensation of like awe, but it wasn't so much like a heart connection. It was just like, holy shit, like that happened. And me and my girlfriend were just reassuring ourselves that we actually did see it and we weren't crazy and stuff like that. But the later one that I had, which was like the human initiated, like we like initiated the contact, like that experience was so different, so heart opening, very psychedelic. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about that as well. Just going to respond to a couple more questions as we get going. And I also want to be able to give Sifu a chance to add their response so we can hear a bit from them. So let's see what we have next. Thanks, John. John, thank you so much for your submission here within this event. And again, I love the idea that there are so many people who are fascinated about UFOs who haven't had their own experiences. And I can say that, within this event, I hope to educate you guys in terms of ways that you could potentially have your own experiences as well, be that through like the visceral sighting or even through dream time, which is something to still keep in mind. So prior a bit about my first UFO experiences, which was again like the sorry, the audio double playing. You guys already heard that. You guys literally just heard me say that. So, yeah, thank you again to those of you tuned in on multiple platforms right now, guys. For those on Instagram, again, what I'm doing right now, I'm uploading clips to the event on Ibble and replying to some of the questions that people have submitted ahead of time. So again, what makes Ibble cool is that like people can submit their clips and then I can kind of like edit them into this ongoing thread, and then people can continue to submit their clips after. So with like live and everything like that, it's kind of limited. You guys, like, I can only see your comments, but I can't really like hear quite in the same way. So again, if you guys want to join on Ibble, it's a great place to be able to practice sharing through your voice a little bit about your experiences if you would like to contribute to this event, which is just an example of some of the many events that we have here on Ibble. So I'm going to reply to, let me just check here. I think the audio is probably like way different from one to one. So starting things off, John, thank you so much for your submission. So starting things off. Oh, that's all right. One of my first... Okay, so let's hear from Kristen's question. So, okay, all right. Kristen, thank you so much for your response to this event as well. And again, I kind of answered a little bit about it earlier, but I'll go into more detail in terms of, like what started me on this. And again, I think a lot of it was like my own curiosity as a child. I was definitely like a very curious child. And the idea of like life existing out there was just something that I was naturally drawn to, right? Like there has to be more to this reality. And obviously, like I was in love with like all sorts of sci-fi, everything growing up. And then eventually, once I started like diving into a little bit more of like even like, coming across old books within bookstores written in the 70s, like all about the UFO phenomenon and, like watching old documentaries a little bit. The documentaries kind of came out later and stuff, but even just, it wasn't too common then. But, just kind of like hearing a little bit about the pop culture stuff, knowing that these experiences were out there, knowing that they were real. And then, for me, as I got older and started getting into my own spiritual awakening and interested in consciousness, it was natural to want to surround myself with other people who are also open-minded to the possibilities of UFOs and also to, again, the experiences of having contact. And now, flash forward to the present, and there are tons of people who I'm connected with who have had their own UFO experiences. And I think one of the most important things to support ourselves within the exploration of this topic is community. If you're not in the right community, you could talk about this and people will just think you're crazy and they'll kick you out of the village sort of thing and lock you up even, God forbid. But when you have people that have had their own experiences and they start approaching it from this idea that it's like not just the fascination, but the purpose of wanting to be able to dive deeper into this, from my experience, is about developing relationship with these other parts of ourselves. So again, it's not just UFOs, it's the inhabitants of the UFOs, it's the civilizations of the UFOs. And whether or not we even fully know all the details, we can still open our heart to like what that connection can be like. And again, having had some of my other experiences where it's just like, whoa, it stays with you. It really does. It's like a handshake that kind of like happens, and then it's like with you through the rest of your life. Like once you have a UFO experience, you can't unhave a UFO experience, and it's a very personal experience for each and every single one of us. So Kristen, thank you again. I'm excited to dive deep a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit more about my other visceral experience that I had with Lacey, where we initiated contact. And before we do that, let's hear from Sifu about what he thinks about the UFO phenomena and anything else he has to share. Kristen, thank you so much for your response to this event as well. And again, I kind of answered a little bit about it earlier, but I'll go into more detail in terms of, like what started me on this. And again, I think a lot of it was like my own curiosity as a child. I was definitely like existing out there was just something that I was naturally drawn to, right? And obviously, like I was in love with like all sorts of sci-fi, everything growing up. And then eventually, once I started like diving into a little bit more of like even like, coming across old books in bookstores written in the 70s. Okay, guys, I'm gonna just take a moment here just to be able to upload a clip, and then gonna share. Sifu has a clip that he's added, so I'm gonna hear from him. Taking a moment here to just be able to read some of the chat. Gio, thank you so much for tuning in. Good to see you again. Yeah, it's been a while for those of you on YouTube, right? Like life has been pretty busy raising a newborn baby and everything. Gio says mine was at 10 p.m. right in my face. It was silent blue and colored lights all around it. They created a triangle in orange smoke. Later, I found my astrological chart, and is that of a triangle. They're the ones I shall meet first in the new world. I waved goodbye, then walked into my house while they were above. The roof's only 2 stops high. It was like another day for me because my level of awareness. Gio, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, dude. And yeah, again, for those of you on the other platforms, stand by. I'm just letting that clip upload, and we're gonna dive into more of my own story. And again, I'm also going to talk a bit about like how to initiate contact as well, which is using the CE5 protocol. If anybody who here knows what the CE5 protocol is, go ahead and let me know in the comments. You guys can just kind of like chat as well. Any other comments you guys just want to have? TikTok, you're the most active right now. So for those of you on TikTok, go ahead and just leave some comments. And yeah, I'll be continuing to dive deep into this topic. So just uploading that clip, and yeah. Awesome. Yeah, so again, for those of you just tuning in, this event is being simultaneously uploaded to Ibble. And if you guys want to join me on Ibble, just use the link in my profile. Follow me at Mystic Spider-Man. And there's a lot of cool stuff that we got going on there. It's a place for you to be able to like interact with threads way different than what we have on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. It's like co-created community discussion. And I really would love for you guys to be able to join me on Ibble because we are creating some pretty cool things there. And it's just a neat way for you to be able to be a part of that. So, all right, this is uploaded, and I'm going to respond to Sifu's post here in a second. Perfect. All right, let's hear what Sifu had to share. Okay.
So the UFO and the extraterrestrial subject, there's some interesting confusions. There's a lot of talk about extra-dimensional beings. So they're, rather than coming from outer space, they're coming from outer dimension, another reality. Which also leads to that there's some strong suspicions that a lot of ghosts are not actually ghosts, they're actually extra-dimensional beings. And I would definitely say I've definitely seen some UFOs, but I've also definitely experienced some extra-dimensional beings, especially in certain places where the energy is extremely high and there's definitely portals there. So for me, that's the same sort of thing as UFOs.
All right, cool. Okay, I'm going to reply to Sifu's response here. So give me 2 seconds. All right. Okay. Replying to what Sifu said. Sifu, fellow Jedi brother, thank you so much for contributing to this event. And yes, it was alluded to at the beginning, but let's dive into that a little bit more because it actually sets up, again, my super visceral experience that we had with my partner and I. So the idea of like UFOs and aliens, it's like, oh, we have this idea. It's like, oh, aliens are just like from another planet. Like they come from over there. They have to travel all the way through space to get here. For me, the part that really helps kind of like mentally piece together and understand the UFO phenomena is when you start taking it more into the multidimensional sense. Again, it's this idea that UFOs like they're not just coming from another. This is all just best guesses, right? It's just me trying to piece together parts of the puzzle. They're not just coming from another planet. They're literally coming from other dimensions, and you almost have to kind of, this is again more kind of theoretical. Think of like Earth as like a bubble, like its own dimension, like its own matrix, its own kind of like sphere, and then the sphere is almost contained within its own bubble of time, its own pocket of time. And then so UFOs, what happens is a lot of them, they kind of like phase in and out. So it's almost as if like this is like a bubble or something like that, and they're kind of like outside of this dimension, and from there maybe it's like they can perceive things differently, and then our dimension is here, and then they kind of like go into it. They appear for a bit and they're like, yo, what's up, we're here. And then within that, from our perspective, it's like boom, they go from invisible to visible, and we see them a bit, and then sometimes they're just like literally a ball of light, and then when they're done, they kind of go boom, and they kind of like phase out of the dimension, kind of like weaving in and out of it, almost like water, in a lot of ways. So, one of the things that's very interesting is that the UFO phenomenon definitely opens you up to understanding that this reality we're in is like an ocean of energy. There is much more than what we can see. So that's why Sifu was kind of talking about the idea of can UFOs and ghosts and all that paranormal stuff actually be like a part of like kind of like a similar thing and other kind of like multidimensional entities. And that's where, again, it's fascinating when you think of like some UFOs literally just appearing as like balls of light. And then you sometimes hear like, oh, like spirits and stuff, they're balls of light. So whatever the case may be, one of the things that's interesting is that like the entities of these that appear to us as UFOs, unidentified flying objects, one of the things that they do is this is again kind of me trying to understand it, but at a young age, it's really helped me piece it together. They're inhabiting what is known as the Merkaba. The Merkaba is like the star tetrahedron, that triangle with another triangle, and it's like two pyramids rotating. This is kind of like a common vehicle that they can kind of like use, and they can scale up and it can scale down. And that's why sometimes like other entities kind of, maybe they use this vehicle to appear to us as UFOs, and sometimes they're aliens, sometimes they're extra dimensional. But again, it's an interesting topic because it kind of like fractals into many more things. So the UFO topic does not just stop in one place. It kind of connects many other things. So Seafood, thank you so much. And I just want to dive a little bit deeper into this as we keep exploring. All right. Thank you guys again. If you guys are enjoying this, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, you guys just kind of got like the extra backseat to the broadcast production that we got going on here as we're uploading things to Ibble. I'm going to keep going until about 5 p.m. and just kind of keep uploading as much as I'm able to. So cool. We'll just take a moment to breathe here. I don't think there's... if you guys are tuning in on YouTube right now, just go ahead and leave a comment. Secondary camera feed for those of you on YouTube, but at least you guys get to hear the audio focus because I got the other cameras right in front of me this way. All right. Replying to... Okay. Sifu, fellow Jedi brother, thank you so much for contributing to this event. And yes, it was alluded to at the beginning, but let's dive into that a little bit more because it actually sets up, again, my super visceral experience that we had with my partner and I. So the idea of like UFO and aliens, it's like, well, we have this idea. It's like, oh, aliens are just like from another planet. Like they come from over there. They have to travel all the way through space to get here. For me, the part that really helps kind of like mentally piece together and understand the UFO phenomena is when you start taking it more into the multi-dimension. Okay. All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. For those of you on all platforms, I'm going to share a little bit about my UFO experience. So. Okay. All right. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the multidimensional nature of UFOs. So, thank you again to those of you tuning in. And yeah, here we go. So, getting into the sighting experience that I had with my partner Lacey in the summer of July 2020, this was an experience that totally changed my life, like incredibly visceral. Again, similar to the other one in the sense that it was close, but this one was like way different, much more personal. This is what we refer to as human initiated contact. It didn't mean that we just happened to see a UFO. What literally happened is that we were meditating and we like invited in contact. So taking things back a little bit, just to be able to kind of like set the stage. So again, prior to this UFO sighting experience happening, and again, the reason why I'm sharing is because this is my experience. This is documentation. This is me, like testifying to what is possible in the sense that this is possible for more than me. This is possible. There's many people have had similar sighting experiences, human initiated experiences as well. So prior to the experience, a big part for me was kind of like this shift of being able to perceive the UFOs and the aliens as something that was much more about building a relationship, seeing them as relatives, understanding that they in themselves could be other parts of us. Maybe like they're our future selves or our ancestors. Maybe they're from like inner earth, hollow realms or whatever, hollow earth realms, or maybe from another planet. They kind of like travel here, whatever the case may be. One of the things that really shifted my paradigm in my relationship with the UFO phenomenon was instead of just calling them UFOs and aliens, because I got tired of calling them that, I started referring to them within my own term that just intuitively came to me, which was OUs, and that stands for other us's. So whenever I'm talking about the UFOs and everything, and even within this story, I'll refer to them as OUs, and so once I started talking about them from that perspective, it was inviting in this relation, and it was inviting in, this knowing that this is something that can happen, and therefore, just like imagining what could happen. So prior to this experience, there was a documentary that you can watch called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and it was released by Stephen Greer. It's literally on Amazon Prime. It's been viewed by millions of people worldwide. The fact that this is out there blows my mind. And so this is about human initiated contact, which is also known as the CE5 protocol, based on how Stephen Greer explains it. And so I'll get more into like the difference between like CE1 to CE5. And I'm actually going to talk about the CE5 protocol. I'm going to explain it to you so I can explain to you what we did and how you can do it as well. So I saw this documentary. It showed me what was possible. Me and my girlfriend were traveling up to cottage country. We set the intention. We did it ourselves, and it literally happened. And now here I am able to talk about it. So let me tell you a little bit more about CE5 and how you can do it too. All right. Taking a moment here, just uploading the clip. Thank you guys again for tuning in. For those of you on the other platforms, it just takes an extra second here as I just take a moment to be able to convert and upload the file to Ibble. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about CE5 in a second. Do you guys know about CE5? Forrester's, writing down CE5 in the comments. I assume you probably know a bit about CE5. And yeah, it's a real thing. Like CE5 is a real thing. So just give me 2 seconds here, just uploading this clip. And who here has had their own UFO experiences? If you guys want to share anything about that in the chat, please, by all means, go right ahead. So, okay. So getting into the sighting experience that I had with my partner Lacey in the summer of July. One second. 2 seconds here. I'm just it's hard for me to multitask when I'm typing something. So, all right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna record my next clip, talking a bit about CE5. All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. It's a topic I love being able to explore, and it's nice seeing other people tuned in who are also interested in. So let's take a moment here to talk about CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, also known as human-initiated contact, human-initiated peaceful contact. So the main thing behind this is the idea that underlying the UFO phenomenon is the concept of consciousness and being able to see UFOs not just as something separate from us, but literally being able to see them as a part of our consciousness, as a collective consciousness, something that we can connect through our minds and through our heart. And so CEs 1 through 4, CE1 is a sighting at a distance. CE2 is when a UFO leaves some sort of residue, like it burns a tree, or there's like stuff it leaves on the ground when it lands in a crop field or something like that. CE3 is when humans see the inhabitants of the craft. CE4 is when the humans actually go on board the craft, which is very fascinating in its own way. And then CE5 is human initiated contact. So the basic concept behind CE5, and again, go watch the documentary Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's incredibly worthwhile. It will teach you a lot. It will show you examples, and it really helped inspire me. But the basic concept behind it, very simple put, less than 90 seconds to explain it. It's about meditation. It's about getting into your heart space. It's about being able to create the intention where you can just kind of like drop into your heart space, put forth this intention of love and kindness and the intention to connect, opposed to just the intention from ego to like want to see something cool, because that's not necessarily what they're interested in. And it's like sending out a signal. It's like sending out a phone call and then inviting them to be able to respond to it. And so when you're meditating, take about like 5, 10, as many minutes as you want to be able to really bring yourself into your heart space. And then from there, what you're actually going to do is you're actually going to kind of like visualize your where you are from like a higher perspective, like a bird's eye view, but then go even higher, all the way up into space, and then kind of zoom all the way in again, almost as if you're like zooming in on Google Earth. What you're doing here is you're basically using your imagination to kind of like pinpoint the coordinates of your location. And then at that point, you're basically just holding this vibration, keeping an open heart, just being open to the possibility, and then allowing yourself to just kind of like be present for whatever may happen. And then at that point, it's really up to the people that are responding to you putting out that signal, the OUs, the other us's, and then they will reveal themselves if it's meant to be at that time. The thing with CE5, human initiated contact, it's not something you can force. If it doesn't happen the first time, that's okay. It is something that you can continue to return to. I have friends who have gotten really good at this and have done this like plenty of times. Like literally, like almost every time they go out, they can do it. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. But yeah, I'm going to get into a little bit more of my own story, and then we'll talk about CE5 as we go. Awesome. All right. So, hey, Cami, thanks for joining in. We're doing the event on Ibble right now, talking about aliens and UFOs, and I'm sharing my experience. Cami, if you wanted to be able to submit any responses for the event, please by all means go ahead, whether it's your own sightings or your own questions about making contact or anything like that. Please by all means. Awesome. Yeah, Francois, like the fact that you already do heart-centered meditation definitely like makes it totally like more approachable for you to be able to experience this for yourself. So, all right, I'm just converting and uploading the video. And again, if you guys aren't on Ibble yet, check out the link in my profile, and you can download Ibble there using my referral link, or you can just search it on your app store. And what makes Ibble different is the fact that you can interact with my events. So you can actually submit your own like 60 or 3-minute video or audio reply, sharing to this thread and any other events that I got going on, like your own voice. So if you got your own UFO experience, if you got your own questions you want to ask, do it that way. So, okay, this is... Okay, CE5 explained. All right, 2 seconds here. I can't talk and type at the same time. That's one thing that my brain is just like, let's just do one thing at a time. Okay, human initiated peaceful contact. All right. Okay, let's get into recording the next little clip here. All right, you can see how much I can get done on this. So let's get into the very exciting story that I have to be able to share with you. And again, I share this story as an example of what I experienced and also as an example of what you could experience too. You could literally experience something like similar to this within the same ballpark, so to speak. So again, CE5 is something that you can experience, you can practice. Again, the important thing is just kind of like being in your heart space. That's the most important thing. And yeah, so the story of my big contact experience, and I had a few others after this, and I'm sure there's still more still to come. But again, me and my girlfriend, Lacey, my wife, my fiance, we were traveling up to Halliburton, Ontario. And I'll just kind of give the short version of this. So this is like cottage country. And we had been planning this out for quite some time. About 2 weeks earlier, we had watched the CE5 documentary. I literally purchased a green laser pointer so that I could use this to kind of like be able to like identify objects in the sky, which is something they recommend during CE5. And on the way up, we set the intention. We were like, yeah, we should totally practice CE5. She's had her own UFO experiences as a child, growing up, as an adult. She's had plenty of dream contact experiences as well, which again is a part of the topic here of like them interacting through dream space, which is a part of this experience as well. And so we were driving up there to the cottage country. And then so on the way, there was like a lot of synchronicities and stuff. We were listening to like Aurora Mothership, if you guys know that song, and really just kind of like bringing ourselves into that openness to like, maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. Let's just try it. We'll see what happens. It's really just practice. So we get there, and there's like a longer documentary that I have about this on my YouTube that actually has like the audio of the experience after it happened. But for this one, I'm just going to tell you guys about it. So we get up there, and on the first night that we are there is the night that we practice CE5. We get in this cute little cottage, like small cottage, and we're in a pretty isolated area, and it's looking out over a lake. And so basically, Lacey was still in the cottage at the time. I went down to the dock. We had our own dock. And I sat there and I basically just like meditated for a good while. And I had my green laser pointer and I was just kind of like shining stuff up in the sky. But again, really just bringing myself into my heart space, setting the intention, connecting, and kind of like basically like talking through consciousness with these other us's. Just being like, hey, if you guys want to connect, I'm here. I'm here to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. I really appreciate you. I love you guys. I appreciate, this relationship that we were building, and just opening myself up through curiosity. And so as I was doing that, just kind of getting things primed up, Lacey eventually joined me about like 20 minutes, half hour later. And once she joined me, shortly afterwards is when things started to happen. All right. Okay, just taking a moment here. I'm just uploading the videos on the fly. I just want to be able to do that before I get too into it. And then I'm going to upload the next clip. So cool. Contact experiences are the best. Absolutely. So again, for those of you tuned in on all platforms, I'm just taking a second here. I just have to upload the video to the Ibble platform. And then I'm going to continue this story. But just taking a moment here to be able to invite you guys over to Ibble. Again, through the platform, you guys can submit your own responses to the event. You can tell me about your own UFO stories. You can ask me questions. I will directly reply. So like, I love talking to you guys this way, but if you want to talk further, if you want to like engage with me like through your voice, then definitely check out Ibble. Again, that's where the event is primarily hosted. So Ibble is an app. The link's in my profile. Just click the link in my profile. It's the top link in my profile. It just says download Ibble. Click that, download that, and follow me there at Mystic Spider-Man. And then through my events tab, go to my profile, Mystic Spider-Man, go to my events, and then you'll see exploring and questioning the UFO phenomena. And then that's where, if you use the Q&A button, that's where you can submit your response there. So Okay, 1 second here. All right. Yeah, thank you guys again so much for joining in. I'm just about to get into this. I want to be able to upload this. It's just taking a second here. Okay, just want to make sure it worked properly. Hold on. I just don't think it converted properly for whatever reason. Just give me 2 seconds. Awesome. Yeah, Francois, if you want to add some responses, I'll keep the event open so that you can add to them. So, and I'm sure there's still more still to come. Okay. So let's get it. Okay. I'm not sure why it didn't upload that clip, but I'm just going to double check here. Just take an extra second here, guys. Just want to be able to make sure that this is uploading properly. And then I'm going to continue to share my story. Again, it's not common that I like multi-broadcast here. So again, for those of you on the other platforms, it's a little bit different. But yeah, if you were to watch this on Ibble, it's like one sequential sequence and you can kind of like skip through to the parts and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And again, the core part is being able to interact with it. So. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's keep going here. 2 seconds. I just want to be able to make sure this is uploaded. Okay. Very exciting story that I have to be. Okay. So let's get into the very exciting story that I have to be able to share with you. And again, I share this story as an example of what I experienced and also as an example of what you could experience too. You could literally experience something like similar to this within the same ballpark, so to speak. So again, CE5 is something that you can experience, you can practice. Again, and the important thing is just kind of like being in your heart space. That's the most important thing. And yeah, so the story of my 2 seconds here too.
Experience, and I had a few others after this, and I'm sure there's still more still to come. But again, me and my girlfriend Lacey, my wife, my fiance, we were traveling to Halliburton, Ontario.
Let's keep things going. All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Just about to continue recording here for the event, sharing a little bit about my contact experience. So here we go. So as soon as Lacey came down to the dock, we sat down there together and we started meditating together. And she sat in front of me and I kind of like held her in my arms. We were kind of like leaned back. With contact experience, with human initiated contact, doing it by yourself is totally possible. Doing it with groups is definitely something that increases the possibility of it. And in particular, doing it with people that like share like a loving relationship, like partners, romantic partners, also like helps amplify the possibility of it. So this experience, it's very personal to me and Lacey, and it's something that we're, quite excited to be able to talk about. And this sighting was something that it was just like the craft itself, the inhabitant of the craft, it felt very personal. Like it wasn't just some random craft. Whatever was coming through, like it was like it knew us. Like there was a connection, like I said, like family, like relatives. So here's what happened. We were sitting on the dock. Again, we were just kind of like shining the laser pointer up in the sky. As we were doing this, again, setting out the intention, both of us meditating. First, what happened is there was a little blip up in the sky, like a little light that just went vroom, and then it just kind of faded out. And we were just like, whoa, like, did you see that? Shine the green laser pointer, circle it around. Whoa, what was that? And then shortly afterwards, boom, another light, exactly the same, but appears in a slightly different quadrant in the sky. We're like, whoa, did you see that? And at that point, we already knew what satellites were. We were looking at satellites. You can see satellites. They're quite clear, but this was not a satellite. It was something different. And then so another light kind of appears and it fades out. And we're just like, whoa. And then suddenly like energy kind of starts moving through us. Our attention is heightened. We can kind of feel it. And even if you guys are listening to this, you might kind of feel it just through the visceral experience of me telling it through osmosis. And then what happens is that more blips start to appear. Vroom, vroom, whoomp, bunch of them, like a bunch of them, like well over like a dozen of them were kind of like appearing. We're just like, holy shit, like what is going on? Like something is happening at that point. Like literally, like everything just started like kind of like beginning to shift. Like internally, we're just like something's happening. And then those blips began to kind of appear in a specific quadrant in the sky to about our 3 o'clock, our 2 o'clock, off towards our right, looking out over the water. It's like all forest and everything like that. And then like in these blips, this is the kicker. This is what happens. A larger light appears and it literally comes in from out of orbit. Like we're looking, it's like from here, and you can see it like moving in. It's like literally like coming into orbit, and these blips kind of like dissipate. But then this main orb that had our attention starts moving in down towards us. And in this moment, it was just like, holy shift, it's happening. So I'm going to get into more details about, again, like what continued to happen after this point, but like, oh, so crazy. So crazy. Guys, leave your comments on this. So, okay, just taking a moment here. Just going to upload. I'm just, again, uploading these in parts as I go real quick. If you guys got comments, for those of you tuning in on my other platforms, I'm just reading your comments now just as I'm converting and uploading this real quick. So again, I'm filming this in clips and then I'm uploading it to the Ibble event. True, when I'm with my sister, we have a lot more sightings. When I'm solo, not as much. Yeah, see, I see crafts all the time since I was little. Dr. Dawn, thank you so much for tuning in as well. That's so cool. That's Francois is talking about. That's how like your first experience. Did you have the blips as well? I'm curious. All right. Okay. Give me 2 seconds here. Just want to be able to convert and upload there as well. And yeah, let's get things going here. So, okay. So adding to, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to keep the momentum here. 2 seconds. And she sat in front of me and I kind of like held her in my arm, kind of like leaned back. With contact experience, with human initiated contact, doing it by yourself is totally possible. Doing it with groups is definitely something that increases the possibility of it. And in particular, 2 seconds, team. Doing it with people that like share like a loving relationship, like partners. All right, let's get right into the next part of the story. Also, like helps amplify the possibility of it. So this experience, again, if you guys, real quick. For those of you tuned in right now, so again, what I'm doing, I'm uploading this in clips and I'm uploading it to the event on Ibble. This is like the primary place of the event is. So all the other feeds on Instagram and TikTok, you guys are kind of like, you're still part of the event, but it's like the additional feeds that I created to support this one. So again, on Ibble, it's a platform that I use. It's an app that I use. Use the link in my profile to download it. This isn't me like plugging it and stuff like that. This is me inviting you to it. And then within the event, within the app, this is where you can like submit your own voice through video, through audio. So with this, if you're just like, oh, I want to tell you about my experiences, my sighting experiences, I would love to hear them. Join on Ibble, go to my profile, Mystic Spider-Man. Under the events tab, you'll see this event. Use the Q&A feature, submit your 60-second to 3-minute audio or video reply. Tell me about your experiences. I'm going to keep this event open so that you can share your experiences as well. Kristen has an event, like something she already submitted. So anyways, I'm just going to keep uploading here. I'm going to keep going. And yeah, Francois, I would love for you to be able to add your responses. If you're in Canada or the US, you can download the app. All right. Okay, here we go. So this light is literally coming in from orbit. And so in this moment, Lacey and I were like, we're so in this moment. And immediately just our hearts expanding, like visceral experiences, energy moving through our body, very much kind of like this like Kundalini awakening energy, like activation sensations. And in this moment, you know, in retrospect, Lacey, she just kind of talked about, we talked about it. And it's like, you felt like there was almost like this like beam of love that was coming down towards us. And this craft, like it literally came down. It was not far away. Like I want to say like maybe like 40 meters at most, but it was very, very close. And it appeared to us as just like this, like this glowing orb. However, Lacey, she was able to see it with a little bit more detail, and she could see it as kind of like this like pillar of energy with like oscillating waves around it. Which again, kind of going back to the story of like the Merkaba, the like star tetrahedron shape, wasn't too far off from that. She actually explained it. She said like the ship itself looked kind of like an angel. And she's not saying it was an angel, but it looked kind of like an angel, like a single pillar with almost energetic wings coming off of it. And so this is what Lacey was able to see. From my perspective, it was more just kind of like a ball of light, but she was like, we were literally like almost like under it, right? And so this thing like continues to kind of like move along, and we're looking at it, and we're looking at it for a good like at least like 20 seconds, if not more. And then eventually it literally just continues to pass over the tree line, and it kind of like moves out of view. But within these 20 seconds, like time slowed down. There was like so much that happened within this 20 seconds. It was so visceral, because at this point it's not like it was just like, oh, like was that something? Like no, like 100% that happened. We set out the intention, we initiated contact, they showed themselves to us. And at that point, again, it was like an energetic handshake. And so this is where, again, within this, for many of us here, it really starts to open the door. Like, what is our relationship with these beings? And this is where I get it's fascinating when you start to think about them as other us's. Like, they're literally here to be able to open the door to a bigger shift in consciousness, to showing what is possible. It's incredibly fascinating. And so like as that experience happened, again, it was like something activated inside of us. And since that moment, I've continued to serve as like an ambassador to tell what's happened. And I came back and I was like talking about it on social media. I'm like, holy shit, guys, this happened. You can do this too. We can initiate contact too. And then what happened is that, like, again, like it didn't just stop there. Afterwards, me and Lacey, we kind of like sat on the dock for a little bit longer, really just taking it all in. And then we went inside. And then from there, like the experience continued. So the sighting itself was maybe like, 40, 50 seconds in total with the blips, but the experience continued way after that, even into dream time, which I'll tell you more about. Guys, leave some comments, spark this if you want. Much love. All right. Cool. Okay. Just again, uploading, converting this. Thank you guys again for those of you tuning in on other platforms. Who here has a UFO story that they want to share? Like who here like feels like they want to be able to add to this event? Again, like, and I'm inviting you to do that through Ibble. Click the link in my profile, download Ibble. It's just going to take a second for me to upload this clip. If you guys go on Ibble, like again, from your perspective right here, it's kind of weird because I'm like filming and then I'm talking to you guys. But on Ibble, you go and you watch it, and it's like one, and you'll kind of be able to like listen to it like a podcast, which is pretty cool. So again, I'm just uploading here. Yeah, Francois, this will be again up on. It'll stay up here on Instagram as well, assuming they don't delete it. Also, again, on Ibble as like a succinct thing. So. Today. All right, 2 seconds here and just uploading this. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about what happened after that as well. So, okay. Okay, 2 seconds here. Again, I just have to, it's hard for me to type and talk at the same time. So I'm just uploading the clip. Perfect. All right, let's get into the next part of the story. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this is, again, serving the purpose that I set out when I did it, which is, again, just like educating and showing what's possible for any of us as well. So there's so much to talk about on this. Like, I don't even think I'll be able to do it all in one event. So, because I got to go I got to eat food at some point, man. And I got Lacey in the other room with the baby. So I want to be able to give my attention to them shortly. So. All right, we'll keep going for a little bit longer. And yes, thank you guys again for tuning in. So it's just uploading Ibble now. Okay, cool. Thanks, Francois. All right, let's get into the next part of the story. All right. So from there, Lacey and I, we went inside of the cottage. And so if you're on my YouTube, look up like the UFO experience, you'll find it on my playlist. But there's audio of me and Lacey shortly after this experience. And that's what I did, right? Like as soon as it happened, we were talking about it. I just like pulled up my phone, put it down, and just like started recording us talking about it. And you hear it in our voice. We're just like, holy shit. And we kind of like start recapping it. And I basically kind of tell you the story that I just told you here. But again, in that moment, like, it felt like we were coming up on LSD or mushrooms. Like it was visceral, like waves of energy moving through us. And obviously it's like adrenaline too, because you're just like, holy shit, this actually happened. I can't believe this is actually happening. It felt like we were becoming lucid in a dream. And suddenly again, just like this realm of possibility opened up to us. We were no longer just like, like little humans walking on earth trying to find our way. Like suddenly we knew that we were a part of something much bigger. And I say we as in all of us. We literally were a part of something much bigger. And so we started, in the months to come and everything like that, we started really just kind of like opening ourselves up to this connection with what this craft was. But again, who it was, the conscious entity in the craft. And again, I think with aliens and UFOs, I didn't talk about this too much earlier, but we have this idea of them being like little gray men and stuff like that. Like, dude, honestly, like they're probably like quite more human than we realize. And this is where, again, it starts to think of them as like more like kind of like time travelers or dimension hoppers and stuff like that. They have something, they're like karmically connected to us. Whatever conscious entity was in that craft, like karmically showed up there with an intention, and then it created a ripple effect, and then it's continued to ripple effect through our lives. So what happened once we were in the cottage and we were just talking about it for a while, eventually later that night, Lacey and I went to sleep, and the contact experience continued within our sleep. Even when we were in the cottage, it didn't feel like the craft just flew off. Like it literally felt like it was like still like above us. Like it was just like invisible at that time. It felt like we were just like in this like beam of loving energy. And that's what Lacey said. Like in the moment, it felt like it was just like sending us like so much love directly to us, specifically directly to us. And then so afterwards, Lacey went to sleep and the contact experience continued within her sleep. And she's a very vivid dreamer. And basically, long story short, in her dream, like the inhabitant of the craft appeared to her, and it kind of appeared to her in the form of like a wolf, but it was like a person, but she couldn't fully like see the person. And then they took her places and they showed her like ancient relics, and she like saw like UFOs within her dreams and stuff like that. And it was incredibly visceral for her. It was incredibly personal for her. And it continued to just kind of like solidify the depths of what this experience was. And we've been continuing to talk about it every day ever since. All right, just taking a moment here. Just got to convert that. This is hard work uploading this here. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Yeah, I was linked to past lives and stuff like that. Sister felt. That's how my sister felt. Yeah, Francois, I can tell you definitely are connected to this type of experience as well, which is awesome. Again, I think it's so fascinating to hear other people that are UFO phenomena. Okay. Just give me a second here. Okay. Just gotta catch my breath. Yeah, for those of you just tuning in, talking about my experiences and sightings. I'm filming this in like a series of clips that I'm uploading to Ibble. Again, I would encourage you guys to check out Ibble, download it through my profile. I also got some really cool like other consciousness shifting events. So like, who here wants to talk about stuff, right? I think we all do, right? So again, download Ibble, links in my profile, and I'm inviting you guys to be able to check it out. And again, through Ibble, that's where you can take part in the ongoing threads and events that I have that are all related to shifting consciousness and creating space for you guys to be able to share as well. So, okay. 2 seconds here. I'm just typing stuff in. This is hard work, man. I will tell you guys. So I appreciate you just again being present with this. It's something I'm always fascinated to be able to talk about. So, all right, Francois. Let me know if you download Ibble afterwards. Like, just even let me know your profile name or whatever. And yeah, if you want to add to the event, please by all means go ahead. All right. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to take a break shortly after this. I probably got maybe if I'll go until about like 5:30, and then I think I'm gonna need to take a break after that. Yes, absolutely, Francois. Cool. Okay, give me a second here. I'm just gonna film some more stuff here. Kind of. Okay. So this event undeniably changed my life, and it changed Lacey's life, and it created a connection between us. Even before it happened, it was kind of funny because I think both of us always joked about it, be like, "Oh yeah, someday we'll probably have our own UFO sighting," and this was definitely one of them. And it was so visceral, like it was like literally like something out of a dream. It felt like becoming lucid within a dream. It felt like something out of a movie in a lot of ways, and that's where a lot of the movies probably draw inspiration from, because I don't think this experience was just, it was unique to us, but many people have had similar experiences, and again, I think with the UFO contact, it's happening one to one, and then I think it is like about like like it's a personal shift in consciousness, and again, it's them trying to teach us something. It's them trying to share something with us. It's not just like, whoa, we're trying to like freak you out. It's like we're trying to show you how to come back to your heart, and we're giving you the invitation to be able to open your mind up to a bigger picture. So again, like with this contact experience, the other thing that was fascinating is that this actually took place on the day out of time. This is a day within the Mayan calendar, July 25th. It was actually the day before I proposed to Lacey. So there's some crazy synchronicities. And again, it was almost like the OUs, the other S's, kind of showed up. And it's like that was like their blessing for us. It's like, hey, we love you guys. And then a year later is when we found out that we were actually having a son. And River was recently born again on April 8th, same day as the Buddha. But there's a definite connection to, for us personally, to this experience, to these entities. And again, we see them as family. And that's where, again, like within this, for any of us who are interested in this, opening our heart to that relation and perceiving it from the perspective of shifting consciousness will help make it possible. So I hope that even just by me telling you about it in some way just kind of like gives you confidence to be able to go out there and to know that it is possible for you as well, and to really just be able to approach it from a place of just, again, kind of like open-heartedness, opposed to just like ego, where it's like, oh, I just want to see something cool. Show like there have been people that have done giant human initiated contact experiences, and they brought out like CEOs and stuff like that, and they're like, here, let's try it, and nothing happens, because again, like it depends on the heart space. We can't just like summon them and then it's just like expect them to show up. It's like, no, they have their own free will, they have their own choice within this matter, and they will kind of choose like like where and when they will initiate that contact. They will show themselves to us as well. And since then, again, like in the days following, I've had other contact experiences that have been kind of like blips and stuff like that. And I'll share with you guys a little bit about that. And it's continued to live with me. And it's really helped activate this role inside me to be an ambassador for this wisdom and this knowledge and this connection to this like higher conscious existence that exists and that we are a part of. Bum, 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 bum. All right, just converting. Okay. You guys having fun? Francois, you enjoying this? I know you're pretty tuned in. You've been tuned in for a while. I totally will. I should be getting ready to go now. Tune in. So interesting. Have a lovely, fun evening with your fam. Thank you, Francois. We'll be in touch. And again, feel free to just send me a direct message if you wish. And join Ibble and share your stories, and I'll add them to the event. I'd love to do that. I'll kind of like upload this like a podcast as well. Yo, Majestic One. Dope name, by the way. All right. So I'm just going to share a little bit here. Whew, this is hard work, man. All right, let's keep things going here. Okay. 2 seconds here. I just gotta catch my breath. So again, for those of you tuning in, I've been broadcasting this on Ibble, where I'm like filming videos and uploading them to the thread. And again, if you guys aren't on Ibble, I really do encourage you to check it out. The link to join's in my profile. I've got 2 profiles on there, Mystic Spider-Man and Paradigm Shift. Paradigm Shift is all like metaphysical questions that you guys can interact with. And then the Mystic Spider-Man one is my main one. And that's where, again, I'm doing this event. But again, on Ibble, like it's designed to be able to have like empathetic discussions, and they kind of, it's really cool because it's like discussions that take place out of regular time, where like I can create a thread and be like, hey, like what do you guys think about like meditation? And then like later in the day, you can add to it, he can add to it, she can add to it, and then I can respond to it. And then by the end of the day, we kind of got this like full ensemble of interactive responses. So it's kind of like doing a podcast without everybody needing to be there all at once, which is pretty cool. So all right. Thank you again to those of you on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. It's been awesome just kind of hanging out here, getting back into the swing broadcast. And let me just kind of keep going here, and I'm going to get close to wrapping up a portion of this event. So continuing along from that experience, I did have a few other experiences, and again, at this point, I'm going to get close to just kind of like taking a break from this event. It takes a lot of energy to be able to talk about this, and again, I've got my Lacey and my baby River in the other room, so I just want to be able to make sure I'm balancing that. But nonetheless, my other experiences, again, are experiences where I was like hanging out with my friend in a field, and I was talking about CE5, and we were meditating out in the field, and then within that, literally like had some like blips in the sky, and then I actually like filmed a possible UFO, which I'm actually going to add to this thread. There's actual footage that I have of a possible UFO, of like something flying in front of the moon that's like not a plane and not a bird or something like that. And the fact that I just happened to be filming just as it happened, and it was within the same night that me and my friend were like trying to make contact, putting out the intention. And I'm like, is it a UFO? I don't know, but that was kind of interesting. But then even within that experience, we did see like other like kind of like blips in the sky. So like that's kind of like a sighting where it's like you may experience this, where it's not like a full-on light orb coming down and visiting you, but sometimes if you're just like, hey, like we're here, like if you guys are here, let us know. And sometimes it will appear as a blip, and not like a shooting star, not like space debris. It'll be like vroom, vroom, and you'll feel it, like you'll notice it. And then what you can do is you can consciously kind of communicate to it. If you can kind of be like, hey, like oh, like hello, I see you, like if you're there, like please, like can you do that again, like maybe I wasn't fully paying attention. And they can do that. You can actually like communicate to them within the contact experiences. You can actually put forth that intention where you can kind of be like, hey, like this is pretty intense right now, please just kind of like just take it easy on me and stuff like that. And they can respond to that. They're understanding of the fact that like the experience itself can be quite overwhelming, and it's not necessarily the intention of them to overwhelm us. It's just the intention of themselves to be able to reveal to us as well. So yeah, I had that experience. And then the other experience I'll just share here real quick, like I said, I'm getting close to wrapping it up, was me and my friends went down to the beach together, and we were doing drum circle. And at that point, Lacey and I, we were telling them about our experiences, and we were opening them up to it, and we were doing CE5 with them. And in that night, again, we saw like similar kind of like blips in the sky. And then one of my friends, he saw something a little bit different. None of us saw it, but it was like above us, and it kind of like, it was like some sort of orb passing through and everything like that. So, but again, even when you don't see them, you can still connect to them. And again, one of the things that I was talking about is the idea that you can actually connect to these OUs, these other us's within dream time. Wherever they are, like they have the ability to be able to like interact through their dream space. And that in itself is a fascinating topic. If you guys have had any UFO experiences through dreams, please continue to respond to this with Q&As. Ask me questions that you guys got about my experience, and I'll continue to respond to those. And let's hear a little bit more from some of the other people who submitted responses in the meantime. And just before we do that, here's a video that I actually filmed about that UFO sighting that I caught on video that may or may not be a UFO. I made a little video about it on YouTube, so I'm just going to like upload this video to the thread so that you guys can check it out. And again, if you're watching the video of this, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're listening to the audio, again, go back and check this out. So, all right, here it is. Cutting over to Brendan. Okay. Hey, Cammy, what's up? Seeing your comments there. It's two-part, but I'd love to hear what you think it was. I just got to post. Oh, cool. Cammy, did you did just post. Okay, sweet, Cammy. I'm going to go back and I'm going to check that out, Cammy. I'm excited to be able to dive into that. Again, I may kind of have to take a break and come back to some of this event later. This is like a full-fledged event, man. So I'm glad I'm able to kind of like do it on multiple platforms at the same time. So just uploading this video. 2 seconds here. Okay. Whew. Yeah, I'm getting tired. Gotta take a break. Thank you, Cammy. Cammy, oh, you already followed Paradigm Shift on Ibble too. I know you did, but I did post up a new question there, all about intuition. If you want to check it out, because I'm just like casually talking to Cammy right now. So. Okay. Yeah, I'll just do a few more responses. I'm gonna hear from some of the Q&A responses. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit quiet now. I just got to catch my breath. Okay. If any of you guys want to take off at any point, go ahead. If you guys want to submit your responses again, just click the link in my profile and check out Ibble and add your responses there as well. Okay, where's that video? Okay. Okay. All right, listening to Luna's.
Aliens are already living among us. And so, the question is, when do you think that they are going to reveal themselves in their natural form to humans, or do you think that's ever going to happen? Is that ever going to happen, do you think?
Luna, thank you so much for your response. And yeah, do I think that aliens will ever reveal themselves to us? And again, I'd say it is happening. It has happened, and it's probably been happening all throughout history, but not in the way where it's like something that the mainstream consciousness will experience like quite to the degree where they're just like, oh my God, like we're like seeing them face to face and we're shaking hands. Again, it's like, it's consciousness. It's all consciousness. So, I mean, through the Pentagon releasing reports about UFOs, like that in itself is like the information getting out there and everything like that. But in terms of them revealing themselves to us, I think that will continue to happen on a one-to-one level. There are some people that have literally been on crafts. There are some people that have literally like seen them in person. Again, different types of beings. You hear about like the tall blues, the Nordic, the grays, some that are more just kind of energy based. In the same way, there are many different like species of animals and insects and all that. We have to assume that there are many different variations of like what we identify as like the inhabitants of these craft, and again, like the members of the civilization. Are all aliens good? I can't really say so, because again, there's the yin and there's the yang. So it's right to assume that, like just in the same way there are aliens who have our best interest in mind, there might be some that may not necessarily. But again, I think when we're putting out that intention to say like, like I'm putting out the intention to be able to, connect with those who serve like the highest good, the highest like conscious levels of the enlightenment of the collective, then in that, we're kind of like establishing like who it is that we're seeking to be able to connect with. And again, I think for a lot of us, like we actually have a much more personal connection to them than we may realize. So this is where even just through meditation and through dream time and through listening to our heart, we can connect with them. We literally don't have to wait to go see them in the sky in order to be able to connect with them, to contact them. Again, I think they almost don't want it to be something where it's like them taking away the work from us. They want to show us that it's just like, we will make contact when you are ready. Sometimes they kind of reveal themselves to us and say, hey, this is possible, but then it's up to us to be able to use our conscious modalities to be able to continue that conversation, to continue that handshake, to develop that relationship. So I think, maybe in time there will be more of like a yes, there are other species here, and we've established a bigger relationship. But I think it will only happen when like the state of consciousness of the global planet is at a degree where it is ready for it. Because I think if it were to happen now, it would be chaos, right? It'd be too much too soon. But on an individual one-to-one level with the right people at the right time, absolutely it is possible, and it already is happening. Thanks, Lena.
And I'd say it is happening. It has happened, and it's probably been happening all throughout history, but not in the way where it's like something that the mainstream consciousness will experience, like quite to the degree where they're just like, oh my God, like we're like, again, it's like, it's consciousness. It's gone releasing reports about UFOs, like that in itself is like the information getting out there and everything like that. But in terms of them revealing themselves to us, I think that will continue to happen on a one-to-one level. There are some people that have literally been on crafts. There are some people that have literally like seen them in person. Again, different types of beings. You hear about like the tall blues, the Nordic, the Greys. Again,
thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm getting close to finishing up this event here.
Animals and insects.
I've been talking about my UFO experiences and stuff like that. Missy, thank you. Did you just put in that comment? I think so. Sorry, I'm like kind of fatigued right now. Missy, thank you so much for your comment. Yeah, again, for anybody who has had UFO experiences, I'd love to hear them. And again, part of what I'm doing right now, for those of you just tuning in, Missy, speaking to you in particular. So I'm creating posts that I'm uploading to an event that I'm doing on an app called Ibble. What's cool about Ibble is that within this, it creates like a thread of discussion, but people can add videos to it. They can add responses to it. So Missy, when you get a chance, because I know you're just kind of tuned into this, and check the link in my profile. The top link says download Ibble. Check that out. Follow me there at Mystic Spider-Man, same profile name that I got here. Check out the previous parts of the event. Go to my profile. And then under the events tab, you'll see like the UFO related event. And then with that, I'm inviting people to submit their stories about UFO experiences. And you can submit it in like a minute audio or video. It's up to you. And then with that, I'll like respond to it and weave it into the event. So it's kind of like creating a podcast, like where we don't all have to be in the same place at the same time. It's pretty cool. It's kind of hard to explain. I think I did a pretty good job of explaining it. The best way to understand it is just to be able to check it out. So I'm actually going to be playing some of the ongoing responses that people have here to the event. And I'm getting close to wrapping up here because I have to be able to take a break soon. But I'm just going to continue to listen to some of the additional responses. So here's Kristen's response here as well. Actually, I'm just going to film one more quick thing, and then I'll get close to wrapping this up. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Missy, and let me know. You can DM me on Instagram if you have any questions. But Ibble's a pretty cool app, and there's a lot that I got going on there. So, okay. Just want to take a moment here to be able to thank everyone again for being a part of this event. Again, I'll keep this event open. I'll keep this thread open. So if you have your own UFO related stories, if you guys have more questions about my experiences, go ahead, use that Q&A button, submit them in a 90 to 190 or 1 minute or a 3-minute audio or video reply. And again, I would love to be able to hear of your experiences, of your questions, of your theories, whatever it is that you guys want to continue talking about related to this topic. I'm going to we're going to play some of the additional submitted responses and stories that we've actually got here. And then at that point, I'll just kind of be taking a break, but I look forward to being able to come back and we'll keep this event going. So I'm not like ending it. We're going to keep it going and we're going to keep talking about UFOs. And thank you guys again for being a part of this discussion. So let's hear from Kristen and her UFO experience next. Okay. One second. Whew. All right. Yeah, like I said, I'm almost done here. I'm just gonna. So what you're gonna hear now, Missy, if you're still tuned in, you'll hear one of the people sharing about their UFO experience. I think there's 2 stories here. One from Cammie and one from Kristen. So let's hear Kristen's story. I haven't listened to it yet. So okay, here we go.
Hello, beautiful souls. Okay, I'm going to share about my CE5 experience in Sedona, Arizona. We connected with myself and a handful of spiritual content creators, and we met in Sedona, Arizona at a retreat center. And on the, I want to say it was the second to last day, we guided through a CE5 meditation using the CE5 Contact app, connected with Dr. Stephen Greer. And this app walks you through step by step exactly what to do to be able to open up the line of communication for you in the CE5 experience. And the CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, so this is opening you to possibilities to connect with UFOs and other dimensional beings. So for Sedona, we had about 11 people in the group. Everyone gathered around the pool outside and found a comfortable position. Whether it was laying down or seated, I chose to lay down on the ground. And we focused on our heart centers, sending out unconditional love, allowing our intentions to be known by the universe that we were intending to connect. And at one point in the meditation, everything got very silent, very still, very quiet. And at this point, I was laying on the ground and I had my breathing was very deep and very centered. My eyes were closed and I began to feel my entire body vibrating and felt like it had a blanket of electricity going through it, like pulsating through my body. And it went on for at least a few breaths, because at that point I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus, just be breathing and allow this sensation to pass through me. And then I opened my eyes and saw directly above my head in the sky what looked to be the shape of a ship, but it was invisible. It was blended in as though you were looking through the night sky through a piece of glass. And so you could see certain stars were in particular places that did not align with the usual constellations. And there was also a slight outline of a rhombus shape in the night sky. There were no clouds. It was just this. And then at this point, I began to just really focus on that heart-centered connection, sending my gratitude, sending my love, and then everyone around me began to stir and awaken, and we all shared our experiences. Others reported seeing the ship. Some people had...
All right, that's where the video ended off, so I'm going to add my reply. Kristen, thank you so much for adding your response. And else there. Okay. All right. So again, for those of you on the other platforms, I'm just responding to Kristen. So I'm filming this video, uploading it to the Ibble thread. If you guys want to stay tuned in here, that's fine. If you guys missed what I talked about earlier, click the link in my profile, download Ibble, follow me there, and you guys can listen to this all. It was really cool. Like, yeah, Misty, you'd probably be very interested in the experience. It might even be similar to yours that I was talking about earlier. Okay, stand by. Kristen, thank you so much for adding your response to this. And I remember the day that happened, when you were at that event and you told me all about it. And I was like, again, kind of like putting my own like good vibes towards a possibility. And I know that even, you know, like me talking about my CE5 experience, like also like inspired you guys to do that as well. So you can already see kind of like the ripple effect, because Kristen, she had already heard about my experience. And I'm sure in some way that probably was just like, hey, if Brendan can do it, we can do it. And in the same way, for those of you watching this, hey, if we can do it, you can do it too. And so, you know, with that experience, I love the idea that every experience is unique. It's very subjective, and it's also going to be very personal. It's going to be very energetic. And so, you know, whereas like some of them, it's just like, oh, it's a clear light in the sky. But in other ones, you know, it might literally be like kind of like a voice you hear, or a sensation, or again, just kind of like a subtle energy that fills your field. It's not just necessarily going to be like a blatant, obvious, right out in the open all the time. But it is, again, just something that's going to be like much more kind of like multidimensional, so to speak. So yeah, Kristen, I really appreciate you sharing. And again, if there's more stories that you want to be able to share, please feel free to let me know. I know we got plenty of other discussions connected to this topic for us to be able to explore here together. So thank you so much, Kristen. And yeah, always fascinating to hear other people's stories and experience. And I love the idea that other people at the event also reported having, like, again, kind of like where you can cross-reference things and stuff like that. That definitely helps solidify the experience. And yeah, Kristen, I would even ask for you, you know, like, how have you felt since that experience? How has your connection to that relationship with the OUs, with those multidimensional beings, how has it felt since then? How has it deepened since then? So yeah, continuing the discussion back and forth here. Kristen, feel free to jump in back when you have the chance. Much love, guys. And let's hear from Cami. Cami has a story next. All right. So again, I'm just going to upload that clip real quick in response to Kristen's. And Misty, you still tuned in? Misty, you felt that? Yeah, totally. Yeah, Misty, the experience I was talking about earlier, I don't think you were tuned in for it. Super, super vivid. It was like me and my girlfriend doing CE5 down on a dock up in cottage country, like a series of blips, and then it was like one like bright light craft came down and it like flew like right next to us, and it was there for, we like saw it for seconds, and then it like appeared to her in dream time as well, which was super fascinating. So okay, all right, just replying to Kristen's.
Kristen, thank you so much for adding your response to this. And I remember the day that happened when you were at that event and you told me all about it. And I was like, again, kind of like putting my own like good vibes towards the possibility. And I know that even, you know, like me talking about my CE5 experience, like also like inspired you guys to do that as well. So you can really see kind of like the ripple effect. Because Kristen, heard about my
just replying to Missy, your question.
It was just like, hey,
I'm sorry, I'm just letting this upload so I'm not talking over myself.
Same way for those of you watching this, hey, if we can do it, you can do it.
I mean, scared wasn't necessarily the word, but like definitely, obviously, like kind of like holy shit. But no, it wasn't fear. It really wasn't fear. That's a great question. See, Misty, if you can submit that on Ibble, that'd be perfect. And again, like not only just that, but even like your own stories. I would love to be able to hear that as well. Misty, I'll just follow you back there as well. So. But yeah, that's a great question. I'd like to be able to like answer that a little bit. It might not be this time, but a little bit later, because like I said, I'm going to take a break. Okay, Cami submitted her response, so I'm going to listen to this. And again, this is through the Ibble app. So let's hear what Cami shared.
Hello, Brendan. Long time no see. This is such a I had a crazy experience when I was like 4, 5. But I'll tell you that. So I the idea that, you know, multidimensional beings as multidimensional beings and interdimensional beings, you know, spirits, ghosts, ETs, ourselves to other places in the universe. You know, I definitely believe in that concept of multidimensionality and beings in all these dimensions. And so I believe that beings outside of this, the terrestrial dimension, or extraterrestrials, could definitely be beings from other dimensions. And the Merkaba and all of that, I agree with all of that. And my crazy story is that we were staying at this very famous hotel from Colombia, and this hotel is known for being, it was constructed on Indian or indigenous sacred ground and burial ground. And anyways, the one night I was just sleeping and everybody was supposedly sleeping. My mom was awake, my dad was awake, but they didn't know that they were awake, and started walking towards a balcony. The doors were open because this is a very, very hot, warm weather place. So we had the doors open. and it's very freaking bright lights, different colored lights started like just lighting up the room, and I was just walking towards the lights, and I was about to throw myself out of the balcony when my mom turned around to wake up my dad, and he had jumped to get me. So
Yeah. All right, just replying to Cammy's video here. Cammy, thank you so much for sharing again, not only your thoughts, but also your experience in a story. And wow, that is a very fascinating story. And there's more to it. I know there's a part two to Cammy's story. So we're going to hear from Cammy. She's going to upload the second part here. And yeah, again, a lot of the stuff you were saying, it's a big shift when you just go from thinking of like aliens as being like this physical thing to multidimensional, extra dimensional, and everything like that. And again, the other part that's very fascinating, let's talk more about this another time. It's like, oh, we think aliens are from like out there, but it's like maybe they're actually from like in here. Like maybe again, you know, like they're actually like descendants of like the fall of Atlantis or something, or these like hidden civilizations that actually exist here on Earth already that have like advanced technology and stuff like that. So yeah, super fascinating stuff. But Cammy, if the second part has been uploaded, I'll add that here. And then again, for those of you listening to this currently, I'm gonna get close to wrapping this up, but we're gonna keep the thread open, and then I'll just come back once I'm able to. So thank you again, Cammy.
Cammy, thank you so much for sharing again, not only your thoughts, but also your experience in a story. And wow, that is a very fascinating story. And there's more to it. I know there's a part two to Cammy's story. So we're going to hear from Cammy. She's going to upload the second part here. And yeah, again, a lot of this
Hey, Erica. Thanks for joining in.
You just go from thinking of like aliens as being like this physical thing.
Yeah, I've been live on air for a while talking about the UFO experience. And yeah, again, for those of you who missed it, I'll upload this so that you guys can check it out. And I'm pretty close to finishing for now, but I'll be continuing to respond on Ibble. So again, if you guys haven't downloaded Ibble, just click the link in my profile, check it out, and you can listen to it there. So yeah, Misty, this will be recorded on my Instagram, which is also Mystic Spider-Man, assuming it uploads properly, but it is currently recorded on Ibble. So download Ibble, links in my profile, follow me at Mystic Spider-Man, and then go to my events, and then you'll see the UFO event. And I would encourage you guys to check it out there. Okay. All right, let me just see here. Just want to make sure that. Okay. So yeah, I'm just taking a moment to break. It's been pretty tired right now. It's a lot of energy. So excuse the silence, guys. I'm just kind of slowing down. It's exciting. So. Absolutely, yes, definitely into spirituality. Like that's like most of my content is focused around that. So. Okay, just checking camera reply. Okay, perfect. Cammy added a response. All right, let's hear from Cammy's second response.
Where was I? Okay. Okay, so my dad jumped. He grabbed me before I jumped off the balcony. And we still debate what it was. So my experience and what I remember is just like seeing this magical lights, and there was this very soft voice, and kind of calling me. I remember like the reflection of the lights on the floor. They were like shiny, and I was just excited to jump.
All right, for those of you on Instagram, I'm actually going to finish this off here. My phone's going to run out of battery soon. But yeah, for those of you on Instagram, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, click the link in my profile, download Ibble, follow me there at Mystic Spider-Man, and you can check out the full recording of this, plus submit your own responses and questions for this event and many more events. So thank you guys so much for watching this, and leave a comment down below if you guys have anything to add. Thank you so much. Okay, let's take a moment here.
And this voice was very soothing and like calling me. And I was just like, la, 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 going towards it. Anywho, we still debate what it was. Like, we don't know. Some people think it's because of the burial ground. Like, there's a lot of weird things that happen there, but they never usually involve like lights, which is why we kind of think it could have been ETs or some other dimensional beings. Yeah, and what my dad and my mom say is that just right after my dad grabbed me, like the lights went off. And it was just like I woke up and I was like, they were like shaking me like, hey, what the fuck? And I got very scared because I didn't know what was going on. And so, but yeah, that's kind of like the memory of it. And so I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think it was ghosts? Or do you think, like, either way, it was some sort of entity being whatever from another dimension, or just it could have been ETs, it could have been a ghost, it could have been, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Okay. All right. For those of you on YouTube and TikTok, I'm just going to finish this up here. And yeah, I'm just going to conclude the event. Battery's running low. And at this point, I'm just adding like a couple more videos of just like saying thank you to everyone. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, for those of you on YouTube, I hope you guys have enjoyed kind of the behind the scenes of the event. And if you want to listen to it in like one like solid thing without all the interruptions in between, again, download Ibble and follow me on Mystic Spider-Man, and check it out under my events tab, and you can enjoy it there. Basically like a podcast where you can just listen to it. Plus, like I said, you can add to it as well. So wrapping it up here. Thank you guys so much. Missy, thank you for joining in. And again, if you guys have any questions about joining on Ibble or just want to talk to me in general, feel free to shoot me a DM. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to continue to co-create with you guys together. Wishing you an awesome rest of your day. And yeah, keep your eyes on the sky. Much love.